and y'all can hear OB Studios. All right, so I'm going to show you how to make this cool button with a video background. So if you want to make a button that has a video background, this is the video to watch. So we are going to use Breakdance, but the idea might be similar if you're using other builders. But with Breakdance, this is how you go about it. So let's go back into the back end. So I do have this set up over here, and I am going to open my structure panel. So this is a structure panel. Our button is going to be in this div. So first thing that I'm going to do is to add an element called fancy div. So I think it's fancy container. All right, so fancy container. So I'm just going to put that in that div. So we do have the container over here. And the next thing I'm going to do is to add a button. So there's a button. So I have fancy container and a button. So that is good. Let's just add a text for the button. So let's call this Breakdance, and that should be good. All right, next thing that I want to do is to style this a bit. So I'm going to click on the styling option and then click on the button. And over here, if you have a pre-designed styling, you can use the primary and secondary, but I don't have that. So I'm going to click on custom and then go into the custom, and I'm going to change the size to, let's see, large, right? It's not the worst, so I'm going to leave it like that. Next thing that I want to do is to go back into the custom, and I want to remove the background color. So move it all the way out. The reason why I'm removing the background color is because our video is going to be on the fancy container. So remove the background button. Everything is good. In the fancy container that is selected over here, come back, and then you're going to see that you have background here. Background that we're going to use is video. All right, so I'm going to click on video. And over here, if you do have a YouTube link that you want to use, you can use that. But I would really suggest not to use a video from YouTube, because YouTube will come with all those titles and other stuff that you do not want distracting your button. Even though the video is really going to be distracting, but you do not want those like titles to distract your button. So I would suggest to use probably a video that you already have uploaded to your own website. So I'm using this video over here. This video is a bit large, so that is also something that you have to keep in mind. Make sure that your video is as small as it can be. So that is our video in the background. The next thing that I want to do is to just add a bit of zoom over here. So first, in the settings panel, I'm going to click on play on mobile, which is good because I want this to play on mobile too. And the next thing that I want to do is to make sure that we have, this is good, but I just want it to zoom in a little. All right, so we can have the zoom. So let's say we zoom into, let's say 250%. All right, and then I'm going to do is do an offset. So move this a bit to the right. This is nice, but probably we want to zoom in a bit more. And we want to probably move this also up a little. And that should be good. All right, so we do have something like this. We can save it, go to the front end and just refresh this. And we do have this button over here. But we want to add a little bit of border radius to it. And to do that, it's a bit tricky because I'm going to show you back in the fancy container. We can go into the container option over here, and then you're going to see the border. So for the border, if I click here and I give this 30 pixels, you can see that nothing happens because the video background is on an absolute position, and it is making it difficult for you to see like the border radius on this particular div. So for us to be able to achieve that border radius, I'm going to go back into the back end, and then I'm going to open the developers panel, and then I'm going to try and select. All right, so this is our button. We need a video. Okay, so this is the video, the div that hosts the video, and this is the main div that hosts everything inside. So what you really want to affect over here is this div called the section background video. So I'm just going to select, right, and then I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to go back to the development, and over here our fancy container is still selected. So what I'm going to do is go into the advanced panel over here, and I'm going to open this. All right, so I want this CSS that I'm applying, I want it to apply to only this fancy container. Maybe I'm going to have a background video maybe down there, and I'm going to use the same container. I do not want this to affect that. So for you to only target this specific one, what you need to do is to type in the selector, and then the period sign, and then we are going to paste what we copied, and then open our curly bracket, and then we give this border radius, and then give this 30 pixels, and then let's close it, and then let's go back and see what happened. All right, so now you can see that we do have the border radius working nicely. So that is one way of doing it. You might be asking why I did not just use selector. So let's try that. We are going to highlight this and cut it out. So you can see that the selector wouldn't work, but because it is the same thing as trying to apply the border through the container. So what you really want to apply the border on is this class. So when you apply to this class, then it is really going to work. So let's save that and go into the front end, move away from developers panel, and let's refresh this. So after refreshing, we can see that we do have our button, and our button is now in a 30 pixel radius, and it looks really nice. There's so much that you can do. You can apply opacity, you can apply you can also apply a little bit of translation, like move from left to right and make it more immersive. So if you want to create a button with a video background, this is one way of doing it. There's so many other ways, but this is one way of doing it, and it's really easy. I am going to leave this CSS that I wrote, I'm going to leave it in the description. So if you want to copy it, you can just click and also copy the CSS. And I also want to say a very big thank you to everybody who subscribed to the channel. We were able to hit 1,000 subscribers over the weekend. I had traveled to go shoot a wedding, so I couldn't really make any video. But in this video, I just want to say a very big thank you to everybody who has subscribed to the channel and brought this channel to the amount of subscribers that we are at. Thank you very much, and I am really appreciative of the love and the support. My name is Nyako. This is OB Studios.